difficult because you can't drive and do a Zoom call about G4 claims at the same time.
No, that would not be a good advert for G4 claims now, would it, boys?
It might be the best advert, actually.
Well, this is actually a good advert that I've jumped into the passenger seat, and I'm telling you what not to do whilst you're driving. How about that?
Yes, it is. Because if you're driving and doing this, had a wee accident, you would need to phone the old G4 claims. And what would you do, Nicole?
So, if you've been involved in any sort of accident, remember to always phone us first. You shouldn't be using your phone driving, so I'm just going to make that clear now. But if you're involved in any sort of accident, please contact G4 first. We can get you a replacement, like-for-like replacement vehicle whilst your car's off the road. If your car's written off, we'll get you paid out for the previous year. We don't want you left with any negative equity on your finance. We'll make sure you're looked after. We're not an insurance company for you. We don't work for the insurance. All our services are totally free of charge. They're billed to the at-fault insurance company. And guys, being a family-run business, we're happy to help. And even if it's just for advice, if you need anything at all, phone us first. Because even if you don't need us this time, you might use us in the future because you know what you're doing then and you understand it more. Always phone us first. It's not a full claim. Made easy. G4 claim.
Made easy. Please welcome to Football Daft, a man who has been entertaining Glasgow for 25 years with his breakfast show on Clyde 1, the number one breakfast show that you can
number
hear.
Number one, sorry Grado.
Sorry Grado. Just before we carry on here, Grado has absolutely shat the bed and pulled out of the interview because it's George Bowie that's on. So.
I heard that Go said that they don't want them doing the same show because it'll show Grado up that bad.
I heard he was washing Crofty's car.
So there we go, everybody. It is none other than George Bowie.
Well, all right, here we go.
How are you doing, mate?
Guys, good.
Here we can go.
Behind me if you want me. Any point.
So, George, obviously, thank you so much for joining us, and it's an absolute honour to be sitting here interviewing you on Football Daft. But I do apologise for our friend Grado, who he's got things he had to go and do, but deep down I think we all know the honest truth in this.
He's bottled it, Steamy.
He might turn up for the end, you never know, he might come rushing in.
I thought his character in Two Doors Down was killed off in the last series.
Well, that's a touchy subject, mate. Do you know what I mean? I can neither confirm or deny that is true. I just know that he heard George Bowie was coming on, and he's not here. But we have got the absolute host of the top breakfast show in Scotland on was finally. George, how are you, mate?
I'm good, Stephen. It's good to be on, man. It's nice to talk to you guys. Got to carry on. I like that.
Excellent, George. Do you know what? I need to, straight away, we need to talk about this. You're bringing out a song for the Euros for Scotland, am I right?
We're doing Yes Sir, I Can Boogie Cross.
A cover of Baccara.
No, it's not a cover. It's the original.
It's the original.
It's the Baccara Girls. It's the original band. We're not
right. I thought, are you dancing it up? Are you GBXing it up?
Oh, GBXing it up. I definitely.
I say berries, man. I've not heard it yet. I can't wait to hear it. I
love how because Bowie's on and we're talking about GBX, your accent pure. Well, that's a berries, man. Honestly.
I just like to give a shout out to my boy. No,
there we go. Checking that off my list as well. My wee drinking game of bits and pieces. Shout out. We're only 2 seconds in.
Oh, by the way, I've got a top rare story for you. You done the Christmas party for my work, right? A few years back. Aye, and it was.
There was other people there as well, Crush. No.
I know, but it's, the GPX was there. It was
it's a GPX Christmas party. Aye.
Right, so one of the women in the work goes up to him and he's like, George, want to play Bits and Bobs?
Oh, I don't remember that. Bits and Bobs was trending on Twitter that night because I told the story on the show the next night. It must have been a Friday or something. I told the story on the show the next night.
I was a woman from my work, aye. Brilliant.
Oh, I love that. The Bits and Bobs woman, she's legendary.
So, George, let's get back to the song. Did you meet the girls for Baccara then? Have you met them?
No, because of the COVID stuff, I couldn't go over. So we had to book a studio in Palma, Stephen, and fly them into a studio. One's in Mallorca and one's in Germany. So we flew them into Palma, got them to do the vocals again, and we just kind of did it like this over a Zoom call. And
Magic, that's class.
they
That's
sent the
brilliant.
vocals back, and then I've got a recording studio here, and we messed about with it. And then my mate's got a recording studio in Renfrew, so he did a bit. And then my wife and Sparkus did a bit as well. So there's a lot of people involved in it. It was good.
Oh, man, that sounds class. Do you think the national team's going to adopt it as their song, mate? Can you see them like?
Well, I hope they don't, because right now bits and pieces is our song. But either way, it's a win-win. You know what I mean?
I was going to say that, mate. Either way, you're winning, aren't you?
Aye,
It's a double A side.
That's it. That's what we need. So it's been signed to a record label down in London. So we did, me and Paul Keenan, the guy that did United Nations Out of Touch back in the day. If you remember that song,
I remember.
I've done a kind of really poppy version of it for daytime. We've got like the version that's out just now is for the football and for the stadiums. But we've also done a really kind of poppy disco-y version of it, which hopefully they'll play in Ibiza and all that kind of stuff. So that's been signed by a record label in London, and that's coming out on the 7th of June.
Nice one. So tell me this one. I love a football song. Right, I see all of the daft songs that they brought out back in the day, like New Order and all of them. Right.
What's the best one, Chris? What's the best one?
Well, that's what I was just going to ask you. For me,
right, sorry.
Right, for me,
interviewing people. I'm doing your job.
For
This
me,
is brilliant, man.
the best one I think for me, Scotland-wise, was We're on the March with Ali's Army.
I think everyone's going to say that.
I've got a soft spot for Come On You Reds, the Status Quo Man United one back in the day.
Right.
And Don't Kill Me here. But you're struggling to beat Three Lions.
Three Lions, I knew you were going to say that there, mate.
As much as it pains me to say this, Three Lions and World in Motion are two of the greatest football songs, you know what I mean? I just wish they were Scottish songs. World in Motion was a great song as well, New Order, you know.
Also, that brought us a John Barnes rap, didn't it? So...
Well, if they took that bit, Hugh Keevan's tried to recreate that recently, and I still have nightmares.
Was there one for France 98 for Scotland?
Yeah, Delamitri, wasn't it? Boy across the
Delamitri.
Don't come home too soon.
Don't come home too soon, and they did.
We were back before they released the fucking song.
I was the first person.
And we never fucking left again.
I was at France 98, and the then managing director wasn't really on the ball, and he sent me out to do, me and Keevans and a few others, to do the show live from the Champs-Élysées. And we did it that morning, the morning of the Scotland-Brazil game. And then he wanted me back for the show the next day. So I didn't get to go to the game. So all the boys, the sports boys, stayed. And I had to go to the airport, get on a plane while Scotland were playing. And of course, I still got my Scotland top on. So everyone thinks I'm being deported. And they're all kind of just going, you know, I mean, it's one of those. So I missed the whole game and got home to do the show next day. It was absolutely raging. So that's my bad memory of France 98. But it was nice to be there the night before the first game and be in amongst the atmosphere and stuff. It was great.
Amazing.
Because you can. I mean, I remember it. I was coming home from school, sitting watching it with my dad and all that, and there was a buzz about the place. But it's that feeling's coming round again. And now it's weird. It's been that long. I've got kids. You know what I mean? My wee girl knows about them now. Knows about the football, and they know Scotland are there. My wee boy's he's kind of knowing what it's all about. But the buzz is coming into it. The buzz is coming now. Do you know what I mean? You can feel it.
Well, these intensify with these games that are coming up. You know, these friendlies, and then as soon as we get to the first game, it's just going to be fever pitch, and then if we lose the second game, not so much.
Do you know, I've got a feeling we're going to do well in this tournament. I really do have a feeling that we're going to do well. I don't know.
We're all in work talking about what time the kickoffs are, because there might some games are like 3 o'clock and all that. And we're going, shit, we're going to be filming on set. Do you know what I mean? So it's like,
but you know what? That's a perfect opportunity for you to take a wee video of the whole cast of River City watching the Scotland game, you know what I mean? And that'll then go viral, and it'll go back to the players, and they'll be like, "Come on, you bastards!" Can't wait for it, man.
but half of the Scotland team's English, man. I don't know what fucking River City is.
What's this River City malarkey there? Who's this guy? Chelsea? Hey, little guy. I could just imagine a bit of that. But the England game's obviously on a Friday night.
That's a Friday night, aye.
Normally I would be on doing GBX on a Friday night. So they're saying to me, and this is why Scotland win, it'll be amazing. So they're like, we'll just go on, we'll do the scoreboard thing, we'll do the commentary and stuff for the game. And then you go on right after the game and do GBX from like 11 till 2 in the morning or something. So
why don't you try and get them to get you down to Wembley and do it for the
that was
outside the stadium?
Chris, because of all the COVID thing, it wouldn't have been for the stadium, but they were going to have me down in the fan zone. They had the fan zone all planned out, and we thought we're going to go down in a bus and all that kind of stuff.
That would have been class.
We're going to take some people down. I think Amy McDonald was coming down, and Callum Beattie, there was talk of him coming down as well, doing some live sets in the bus and all that kind of stuff. And then they were going to have a fan zone, and we'd all do a wee bit, and I'd do a GBX set after the game or before the game or whatever. But COVID kind of kiboshed all that, which is a bummer.
So tell me this one. See, with the fact that you're releasing the Baccara song for the Euros coming up, how much your percentage is Andy Considine getting for you?
We spoke to Andy. Well, I sent him a wee message just saying thanks because it's because of you that this has all happened. And John organised them to come on the show the day the squad was announced, but he wasn't in it.
And he wasn't in the squad?
Oh, I was gutted for him because the big man's done so much for that song. It's his anthem, you know what I mean? And that could be like it could be one of the big songs of the tournament. It could be this year's Will Gregg's on Fire. And
it is going to be the big song of the tournament.
Because even people that don't support Scotland have been saying to me, "Oh, we'll be playing that," you know what I mean? And that's what the radio guys down south were saying. They said everyone will adopt this as their song for this tournament, the way they did the Daryl G track.
Yeah, it could be the unofficial song of the actual full tournament. You know what I mean? But
it's not like, there. I know that's what I was going to say. It's like this song's going to take off. It's going to be massive. If Scotland do well in the tournament, it's going to keep going. And poor Andy's going to get a beer machine and be sitting watching the games for the house. You know what I mean?
By the way, watching the games on mute in the house.
In a dress.
Sitting pissed with a dress on.
His eyeliner running because he's been greeting.
Telling his mates and his family over and over again, I started this.
That guy's living off my talent. He'll be like the guy that wrote Bits and Pieces. That guy's living off my talent. That's my song.
Fucking Bits and Bobs was better anyway. George, is a lot of the Scotland boys fans of GBX and stuff? Do you know?
Yes, a lot of them are. Actually, like before that last game when we qualified, I sent Kieran Tierney a mix. We did them a GBX mix and sent them it down. They were playing it in the dressing room because there's a video of them all jumping about to I'm Feeling It.
Oh, brilliant.
And that was the first song in the mix. So there's actually a wee video and you can see it where they're dancing to Yes Sir I Can Boogie and then someone shouts, get a GBX on.
Brilliant.
So, yeah, a lot of the boys are.
That's right. Have you ever thought about getting any of them into DJ for you?
We could do a thing. We did a thing recently with Martin Compson where we got him to pick his favourite GBX tunes and I mixed them up. So we could maybe get one of the players or some of the players to do that maybe during the tournament. That might be a good idea.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Plus,
John came up with the name Baseline of Duty for the Martin Compson one.
Hey! Thank you very much for that.
You came up with that, John?
I did. Thanks, Stephen.
That's good, mate. That's good.
Or he ripped off on someone else. I don't know.
That's pretty good for you, John. That's pretty good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good for you, John. By the way, you're wasted in it, that Clyde.
So, George, talk us about, I seen you went global as well, man, with Sam Hewn talking about you on the James Corden show.
Aye, that was a bit crazy one. I've never actually met Sam Hewn. Everyone thinks that me and Sam Hewn are best of pals ever. Mate, you know him for River City, right?
Aye, mate, lovely guy, but I hated doing scenes with him, man, because I'm like 5'1" and he's like 6'10", you know what I mean? So me and him doing scenes together was a nightmare. You could never get a two-shot with us two. Because it was like, he's a cracking guy. He's a cracking guy. So are you going to be DJing at his 40th or something?
Yeah, I spoke to him about that, and he said he was going to have a belated party because it was just his 41st the other week, and he was being interviewed again on, I think it was STV were interviewing, and he said, "You never get the party. Would you still have it?" And he said, "Yeah, and hopefully George will still come and DJ." So I talked to him on Twitter and stuff. I've never actually met him in the flesh, which is bizarre because I think he lives in Hindland. And
he's a diamond, there, guy. He's a diamond.
I've never heard anyone say a bad word about him. Every single person I've met that's worked with him, even like now and at the very beginning, says exactly the same. He's just no change at all. I've never met anyone in this kind of sector that's well liked. You know what I mean? And a lot of people like you as well, Stephen. You know what I mean? But he's the same.
By the way, I think he's an arsehole.
Who, Sam or Stephen?
No, that's Stephen. Sam's a lovely guy.
That's the thing, George. Me and Toll actually hate each other. We just need to do this every week. Do you know what I mean?
We put on a smiley face and just go on, mate. Proper professionals.
That's why you're all doing it for home. Can't be in the same room together.
So you're saying that you do 40th, George? Do you know something?
You got a big one coming up. You want bits and bobs at it?
I'm 40 next year, George.
There you go.
I don't know if you knew that. I don't know if you knew
Me
that.
and John will come and DJ at your birthday, Chris.
But,
Me and John did the Barrowland together, didn't we?
We did.
Really?
I would love that if Toll was having a 40th and told all his mates Bowie's coming to DJ and you couldn't make it and fucking John walked into the man.
Hopefully we'll be back to normal for that.
Get one of they cut out masks and just put it over John's face. Know what I mean?
It's a good look.
I've actually performed at the Barrowlands on more than one occasion. Anyway, so we'll move on to the next question. So you worked with Hugh Keevins for years and years on the Breakfast Show. We've mentioned him already on the show. Is there anybody in radio that has taken to social media like the dirty water that Hugh Keevins has? I've never met anybody that knows how to wind everybody up at once.
He's got it down to fine art, but that's his act. That's Hugh's act. You know what I mean? It's like there's no point in going on and saying everything's great because you're not going to get any debate going. You're not going to get anybody phoning up. If Hugh goes and throws a grenade in there, everyone's going to phone up and agree with him or disagree with him, and that's the whole point, isn't it?
Aye, he's a master of his craft.
Yes.
He is.
He's a total noise-up merchant. He's an absolute noise-up merchant. But a nicer guy you couldn't meet. He's a lovely.
No, I know. I remember. I think it might have been. God, going back years now. I don't. Was it Des McLean's wedding? And he was there, and me and my wife Nicola, we stood at the bar for ages, getting shots, a sambuca, whatever, just different shots. Just me, her, and Hugh Keevins, and what a laugh! Honestly, like the guy's just—he's a diamond. He is. He's brilliant. So George, looking on like obviously GBX and stuff, if you like obviously you get shout outs all the time, people phoning in wanting shout outs. What's your favourite tune?
Oh, my favourite tune?
Aye.
Oh, that's a good question.
And people, because you must go at when people phone in like, oh, right, play that again. But is there ever one when people phone in and you go, yes, I fucking love this song?
See, this is the problem with GBX. A lot of people go, how come you play a load of the same songs all the time? Because it's a request show, Dafty. It's not me picking
exactly.
People phoning in and asking for it, and it's their tunes. It's like going to see, like you get the Oasis poster in the background, right? If you want to see Oasis and they didn't play like Wonderwall and all that and Don't Look Back in Anger, you'd be raging.
Of course,
you've got to play the big songs that people want.
Aye, of course.
So me,
is there songs that you go, I wish somebody just asked for this?
I really like the old school stuff, Stephen, as I know you do too. It's just like I like the old kind of 90s stuff, and my favourites change all the time because like anybody, I get bored with songs. You know, you'll put songs in your phone and you'll get running or whatever, and you'll listen to them and you'll go, right, oh, they're great, and then after a couple of times you'll be like, okay, I'm a wee bit fed up with them now, and update it. You know.
Do you know, like coming through high school, I was mad into my dance music, right? And my favourite one, and it gets played quite regular on your show, is Rhythmic State, Soap and a Rope.
Yeah.
I love it, man. I love it. It takes me right back to when I was like 12 or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
I was the first person to play that, Chris. I remember when I started the show, Rhythmic State had a song, Power People, which I've been playing quite a bit, and I got them in for an interview. And they said, can we make it next week? Because we're going into the studio to record a new song. And what we'll do is we'll bring it in and we'll let you play it first. So they came in with a DAT tape. This is how long ago it was. It was like 94 or something. They came in with a DAT tape. And on it was Soap and a Rope. And I played it. And like back then, we didn't have like texts and emails and stuff. So people you couldn't even phone in back then. So people were writing letters to me going, you know what I mean? Felt like it was an army wife or something, you know what I mean? What was that song? You just all these letters coming in asking about this Soap and a Rope song. It's mental.
It's a classic though, isn't it? It's a classic.
It's a classic.
It definitely is. We were in a big lodge at the weekend there, and
not like you to be in a lodge.
Not another one. Is you and Cameron there, me?
It was
maybe a secret, Stephen. For God's sake, you're going to disappear.
A log cabin, which was very, very big. It was a massive one, so we called it a lodge. It wasn't. Anyway,
he's still there.
That's how Grado can't make it. He's still there, man.
Still there, shaking hands. Can't get it.
Rolling his trouser leg up.
I don't even know where I was going with this story now.
Tell us about the lodge, Stephen. Tell us more.
I can't even.
What goes on in there?
Here, Stephen, how old's your granny?
That's where I was going. Tunes, right? Aye. So, my brother-in-law, we were playing. My brother-in-law's a bit of a 90s boy as well. We're playing Hunter's old school songs as well. But then one that's now on your Spotify, it's like tunes you've been listening to recently. I can't get enough of the now is the Tiesto remix, the Southern Sun, the Paul Oakenfold song.
Aye, it's a good tune.
Oh man,
the vocal on that is just
it's amazing, and I was making trying to make shapes on top of the snooker table that I just honestly, and my brother-in-law's taking videos of it, and the next day I looked at it and went, I'm an absolute embarrassment. Do you know what I mean? It's like I thought I was back in Destiny or Bonkers or something. Do you know what I mean? It was embarrassing.
That's the game. That's what it's all about down the lodge.
How would you know?
I was in the BBs, mate. That's as far as I got.
Oh, it's brilliant. But George, obviously this is football daft, right? And we bit about football now.
I've just come to think of it, I've not mentioned football at all.
I know. We just thought, but you love Greenock Morton, don't you? You're a big Morton man.
They're my team, but because I live in Glasgow now, I never really get to go and see them.
Aye.
I grew up in a house where my dad's a Rangers fan and my mum's a Celtic fan, so Morton was the best option.
Easiest option.
Usually the option there's Partick Thistle, but you've went Greenock Morton. Fair play to you.
Aye, it was down that neck of the woods. It was down that neck of the woods.
I tell you what, you get a decent fish supper down that neck of the woods, don't you?
You get a decent pie at the pie stand. The pie stand at Capello is great, man.
Beautiful.
I've never been to Capello.
It used to be one of the strangest grounds ever. I was in it years and years and years ago, and it was really weird. It was a weird stadium, but it was a good stadium.
Big capacity, Chris. It holds a lot of people. I don't know what the actual capacity is, but it's one of the biggest. Do you know what I mean? And then that league, it's a huge ground.
So, what's your favourite memory then, as a Morton fan?
I think it was the night that about 10 years ago, was it, when it was the same year we got relegated, but we also put Celtic out the cup. We beat Celtic. Everyone thought we were going to get beaten by like 6 or 7-0, and it was nothing each at full time. And then it went to extra time, and it went to penalties.
I really should have thought about that before I asked that.
I mean, I thought we were looking at the score thinking, oh, it must be about 5 or 6-0. I'll tell you what it was. I was doing an interview with James McAvoy at the time, and James is obviously a big Celtic fan. So we're talking about the game, and we're kind of making jokes about it. And we went to see, he had a new movie out, Filth.
Brilliant movie.
So we went to the premiere of that while the game was on. So obviously I had to do the interview, I had to go to the film, couldn't get to the match, had my phone off for the whole match, and then came out and I was scared to look at it in case it was 6 or 7-0. And I saw that Morton had won in penalties. So that was an amazing.
Told, do you remember that night, mate?
I can't remember what I was doing. I think I was, no, I don't remember it, man. No. I remember Big Viduka's debut against Morton at Capello, but you remember that one?
I was at that game as well. I was in the cowshed that day.
And then he fucked off the next day, remember? Played against Morton, and then we were like, I'm away, fuck this.
And that was quite close, that game as well. Was that like 2-0 or something?
I think it was 3-0, but it was a good game. Reset and Viduka scored. It was 2. You're right. It was
Vida, remember him, man?
He was a bonkers case, wasn't he? He was a red card waiting to happen every time he put the boots on.
But George,
another close game.
Your wife Ellen, big Rangers fan.
She's a massive Rangers fan.
Yes. How does that go down in the Bowie household?
It's all right. It's weird because when my kids were younger, when Lauren was younger, she used to come to Capello with me, and now she wants to be a Rangers fan like her mum. I think they're kind of glory hunting, you know what I mean? A bit of that. But it's fine. I mean, we had that one season where we're in the championship at the same time.
Yes,
and
I was going to mention that there, mate. I was, because we crossed paths for a while, didn't we?
Because Morton went there the first year, and then we came up, and Rangers had, who was the guy that had the magic hat? They used to sing a song about
Mark Warburton.
Aye, Ellen had one of these. We were playing at Capello, and I think Rangers were winning 4-0, and Ellen got this Disney magic hat and started sending me pictures of her wearing it and all that, and just got a total noise up. So that was really the only time our paths crossed, and I think we drew each other in the cup that year, and I think Rangers went 2-0 again.
I think we did, mate. I kind of.
It was at Ibrox. I went to that game as well.
Who's your favourite Morton player?
Right now, at the moment.
Right now and of all time.
Andy Ritchie was my favourite player back in the day, because when I was at school, he was a goal scorer. I mean, Andy played for Scotland and all that. Morton were like in the Premiership at that point. It wasn't the Premiership, it'd be the First Division or whatever it was back in the the 80s. But yeah, the equivalent of the Premiership, and he was like top goal scorer and playing for Scotland and stuff. So he had a couple of great seasons. He was kind of Morton legend. Still see him from time to time as well at Capello whenever I go down. And he was probably the best player back in the day. But right now it's kind of slim pickings. The team are not doing too well now. But I hadn't been to a game for. Like, I moved to Glasgow 4 years ago. When I lived in Cobarkin, me and my mate had season tickets. We used to go down every second week. And then it was handy because I could just go straight to Clyde afterwards, just go over the Erskine Bridge and you're there in 10 minutes. So that would be a regular Saturday for me, go down to Capello, watch the game, and then go and do GBX. But since I've moved to Glasgow, I haven't really been to any games. I've watched a few of them on telly and stuff. But that's it. It's funny how you drift away from it, isn't it? It's like...
I kind of, well... I wanted to drift away from it when Rangers went out to the third division. Do you know what I mean? But it's one of the ones. It's hard. I mean, we're Morton are. Do you know what I mean? These leagues aren't easy to get out of. Do you know what I mean?
No, they'll never get out of that. I mean, they have to get the money to get out of that. Survival's the big thing.
See what you're saying there as well. Morton always bring in a big crowd, no matter what league they're in. They've always got a big crowd, and they always, whenever they played at Parkhead, they always brought a huge travelling crowd with them. One of the biggest that ever. With the exception of Rangers, even bigger than teams like Hearts and Hibs and stuff like that, you know. So it baffles me that for a club with such a huge support, they are where they are because they're a bigger club than that.
There's a lot of people down that way support Celtic or Rangers, though, Chris. You know what I mean? It's like they'll cheer on Morton as well, but it won't be their first team. You know what I mean? So like if you cheer on Celtic and Morton are playing Rangers, you're going to go to the game, and vice versa. If you cheer on Rangers and Morton are playing Celtic, you're going to go to the game. You know what I mean? So there's probably a lot of people that go to those big games that wouldn't go to Capello normally.
It is like you said, George. It is. I mean, clubs like Morton and that, it's all about survival. Do you know what I mean?
No, definitely.
It is. Clubs like Morton and Falkirk and stuff, small.
Don't bring Falkirk into this, you.
Judas, remember Judas at Falkirk?
Don't talk about that bastard. Right, so listen, we'll bring you interview to an end here just now, George. I've got one big question to ask.
Go on, Chris.
He's not doing your 40th.
Oh, but your 40th
No. How are we going to do in the Euros? How do you think we're going to do?
Right. I think I've got a theory on this one, right? See when Scotland think they're going to do well, if they're playing a wee Diddy team, we do really badly. See if we're playing a France or a Spain or a Germany or whatever, somehow we just raise our game. So it's what Stephen was saying earlier. It's a good feeling about it, isn't it? It's like everyone's expecting us to fail, so we can't lose. You know what I mean?
It is. I mean, it's like we've all been through a global pandemic. It's been a really tough time. There's been no fans at football. There's not been much to shout about and smile about. But now, hopefully, light at the end of the tunnel with the pandemic. Plus, for a change, you've got an international football tournament coming up that Scotland are involved in. It's mental.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Plus, it's like George is saying as well, like Croatia, England, who else is it? Czech Republic. Croatia and England are two of probably the fancy teams to go and win the tournament. So really, we've got nothing to lose. Do you know what I mean?
No, I'd imagine England would be what?
So that means we'll beat England, we'll beat Croatia, and Czech Republic will pump us 5-0.
But mate, that's enough. If we beat England and Croatia, we're through.
Yes, come on, boy.
Take that any day. It'd be great. if we win one of the 3 games, I'll be happy. You know what I mean? One of the 3 games is a victory. Even if we go out, as long as we don't get gubbed like 5 or 6-0 in every game.
I really want to beat England. Obviously, want to beat England on the Friday night because I know John will be absolutely pissed and want to do a Zoom call.
Mate, it'll be amazing. It'll be amazing, won't it?
Historically, we've got a good record against England. You know what I mean? It's particularly the recent years. You know, I remember the Lee Griffiths double and was it Don Hutchison that scored at Wembley?
Don Hutchison at Wembley, we beat them 1-0.
Remember, we went 1-0 up at Wembley the last time we played them down there as well. Remember, Kenny Miller scored.
That's right.
He scored 2 in that game, wasn't it? It was 3-2.
So who knows?
You never know.
Do you know what? Maybe Harry Kane will be walking down the street and his ankle will go over the curb. See, have you ever done that? Maybe that will happen to Harry Kane, and wee bit of luck. We never get that wee bit of luck. No, so fingers crossed, man.
That's true.
Fingers crossed.
Anyone's not getting luck at Scotland.
Definitely. But George, Every week on Football Daft, we put our guests' Scottish football knowledge to the test with a 90-second quiz.
Oh, this
You up
could
for
be
it?
good. All right, let's try it and see.
Right, so David Martindale's top with a score of 16. In joint second, it's John Sutton, Chick Young. And joining them last week's was Hamilton's Scott Martin. He was dynamite, wasn't he, John?
He was on absolute fire.
He was
I'm going to
brilliant,
be
man.
rubbish at this, by the way.
We've got Mark Wilson and Keith Lasley, third with 14. Other selected scores include Gordon Duncan on 11, Jonathan Watson on 9, Pat Nevin on 6, and Barry Feastenders on 4. And at the bottom, it's a tie between Peter Lovencrans, Derek Johnston, Craig Levine, and Mixu Patalainen, who are all on 3. Is there anyone on that list you want to beat?
Yeah, Mixu, Pat Linen, and the others on 3. If I get more than 3, it's a bonus.
You need to beat Gordon Duncan. You know what I mean? He's on 11. Clyde, fellow Clyde.
He never invited me to his wedding.
Oh. Do you think we could maybe extend the interview a wee bit and talk about that?
Well, it's one of these things, you know what I mean? I didn't know him all that well. He just started at the time they got married, and I still noise him up about it.
Imagine just starting at Clyde and no inviting the Don, George Bowie.
Hey, I want to come to your wedding.
How long do you want to stay at Clyde if you're not inviting George Bowie to your wedding if you're working at Clyde?
Over.
It's like working at River City and no inviting Shell Suit Bob.
Wow, man.
You're coming to your 40th, Chris, aye?
Oh, you better believe it. We hate each other, but you better fucking be
there. So, obviously, 90-second quiz, George. You can't pass. Even if you don't know the answer, you must give a answer.
Wow.
Right? All right, so that's the rules. And, Chris, do you want to read the questions out?
I'll read the questions.
Right.
Right, if we get 90 seconds on the clock, John.
We have indeed.
Right, George, your time starts now. Aberdeen's Fraser Hornby was on loan from a club in which European country?
England.
What colour appears alongside the white and blue on the Scotland home kit sleeves?
Yellow.
Who has just been appointed Ross County manager?
Oh, I do know this. Who was it again? I'm not like a
John
pass. I'm
just
terrible.
Say a name. Just say a name.
John Hughes.
And what year was Morton founded?
It was at 1873. Right?
Who's the current manager of Dundee?
The current manager of Dundee is it James McPake? Is that right?
Name one of the other clubs Gus McPherson has managed out with Morton.
St Mirren.
What is the name of St Mirren's mascot?
Paisley Panda.
Yes, sir. Can Boogie got to what position in the charts?
Number 2, I think.
Jim Duffy left which club this week?
De Barton.
Celtic signed Odsonne Edouard from which French club?
PSG.
What is the name of Stenhouse Muir's ground?
Stenhouse Muir.
Derek Lilly is Morton's record sale, but who did he move to?
Oh, he moved down south, didn't he? He did not do it. No, I've got to say Dundee United. I don't know why I think.
Stephen Gunn has just been appointed director of football for which club?
Stephen Gunn.
Time.
You can answer the question, no, George.
Stephen Gunn. Is it St Mirren? I don't know.
Right, John.
Right.
John, I love the answer to the Ross County manager question.
That was a mistype. I don't know what I was thinking at the time.
George, under the question it says, who has just been appointed the Ross County manager? And the answer, Ross County.
That's a good name for a football manager. What's Yogi Hughes? Was it Yogi Hughes?
No, he's just left.
He's
I'll
just
go
left.
through the raw answers, George Bowie. George is used to my shite scripts. I hand them to him every day. Right.
Yeah, I'm used to this.
Here we go then. For a man that does the 5k minute every day,
That's pretty bad.
Yeah. Right, let's go through the raw answers. Fraser Hornby was on loan from a club in which European country? It was France. The colour that appears on the Scotland jersey, it's red.
Is it red? I thought it was too obvious.
Malky Mackay is just...
Malky Mackay. You were talking about that this morning. I won't say what you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, send it to him in an email.
Morton 1874, not 1873. You got the St Mirren questions right, though. Yes.
I knew it was 1870 something. I couldn't remember because I think we're the third oldest club in Scotland or something.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Can Boogie got to number 1.
I thought it was a number 2.
Oh, yeah, you're going to argue over this now. I know what you like.
He got the James McPake one right as well, Dundee manager.
Yeah, James McPake. Oakview, Stenny's ground. Derek Lolly moved to Leeds, and Stephen Gunn's just been appointed as Director of Football at Aberdeen. You're not bottom, however, sir. You've done your family proud. You've done Radio Clyde proud. You're got
Second
5.
bottom. Top 5.
5. Third bottom, mate.
You beat
Third
Barry
bottom.
from EastEnders.
Aye.
Beautiful.
I heard you were calling him Barry, is that right?
Of course we were.
Kept calling
Of
him.
course
I don't
we
even
were.
know his real name. Apparently, John showed me this
Sean.
video of him singing something inside so strong and it traumatised me.
I bought his fucking book on the strength of that interview. I've not even opened it.
I thought you can say you bought his album.
Oh, brilliant. George, it's been great talking to you, mate. It's been brilliant. When does the song come out?
Right, the song Yes Sir I Can Boogie is out on the 7th of June. So very
Do you
excited.
know
about
what?
that.
Do you know what, boys? Since we've got the artist in resident, and since we've got Bacara's permission, do we have permission to play the song right now, George Bowie?
Yes, you do. You have my permission.
Oh yeah, belter.
Here it goes.
Grado's gonna be raging.
Aye.
You think you'll play it in the wireless?
Mister, your eyes are full of hesitation. She makes me wonder if you know what you're looking for. Baby, I wanna keep my reputation. I'm a sensation. You drive me once, you beg for more. Oh, yes, sir, I can boogie, but I need a certain song. I can boogie, 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 all night long. Yes, sir, I can boogie, if you stay, you can't go wrong. I can boogie, 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 all night long. Come on, boys. Come on, boys. Oh yeah. Yes, sir. Already told you in the first verse and in the chorus, but I will give you one more chance. Oh, yes, sir, I can boogie, but I need a certain song. I can boogie, 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 all night long. Yes, sir, I can boogie, if you stay, you can't go wrong. I can boogie, 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 all night long. Yes, sir, already told you in the first verse and in the chorus, but I will give you one more chance.